Hello everybody, my name is Pixel and welcome to the Sapphire Tech YouTube channel. Just last week we released a video on the channel showing the performance of 8 single player games from earlier in 2019, all running on the Sapphire Pulse RX 5700. And while that video received a very positive reception, we also received quite a few comments and messages requesting that we cover some of the more graphically demanding games that have been released over the past few years. So that is exactly what I have done for you all today. This time we are going to be taking a look at the performance of 6 games all running at 1440p and using the highest or at least pretty close to their highest settings. Once again, I want to let you all know that I'm going to be leaving timestamps for each game in the description below this video, and that I'm not going to be talking throughout the entire thing, but I will give a quick introduction and some context to each game once their section starts. Oh, and if you notice any screen tearing during this video, that's due to recording the footage on a capture card with an uncapped and unsynced frame rate. If you were to run these games using VSync, AMD Enhanced Sync, or even better FreeSync, then the screen tearing would not be something that you need to worry about. With that said, let's jump into our most requested game, The Witcher 3. Now, I have to admit that this has got to be one of my personal favourite games of all time, and simply booting it up to quickly record a little bit of gameplay for this video has pretty much given me the itch to start a new playthrough, so thanks for that. Here, we maxed out the graphical settings barring the Nvidia Hairworks, and we are still able to hold an average well above that 60 FPS target. However, as with all massive open world games, it's impossible to accurately predict the performance for an entire run. For that reason, I think that this is going to be one of those games where it's going to be best to cap your frame rate to 60, providing that you play on a 60 or a 120Hz monitor, and use AMD Enhanced Sync, or even better, run the game using FreeSync. Honestly, looking at the price of the Sapphire Pulse RX 5700 next to the visuals that this game is able to pump out, it really blows my mind how far we have come in such a short time when it comes to visuals and performance.
You're looking ill. That's nurse something's true what they say.
It was right here for
No cure for trouble like a witch.
The bagel buds alone maintain a certain standard in regard to
procedures, Gary. They are health society, urgent action, and generous.
ladies sucker the garage.
Hard finding work here, you know, with the eternal fire burning and all that.
My husband's a supervisor by trade. Not the note. Excuse me a moment. Miss?
Yes, it's me. The trout buyer?
Oh, yes, of course. Please excuse the precautions, but perhaps we could speak somewhere in private.
Next up, we have Grand Theft Auto 5. Here we maxed out the settings with the exception of MSAA and the advanced graphical settings which we left it off. GTA 5 is one of the best examples of how a well optimized game can look and run beautifully. So it kind of surprises me how often we get this game as a request for these gameplay videos. Here we hold an average frame rate well above the 100 FPS mark, often hovering as high as around 120, so yeah, you should expect a great gameplay experience when running this game on the Sapphire Pulse RX 5700.
Ooh, tough guy!
You're blind, dude.
What a jackass!
You want to taste the Tai Chi? Keep it up.
Come on, you really suck!
Fight me, man!
You are utterly ridiculous!
Dude!
You make me want a lobotomy!
Come on! Hey, stop!
This guy can't leave having seen what he's seen.
Die!
Back! Fucking dick!
Trust
Here
me!
I go!
I'm not interested in the truth!
Give it up! I got him! I saw your face, I'll remember you.
You get 1,000 things every day. How about you make sure this is one of them?
I've seen his eyes! He's crazy!
No one's crazy. I think. Be cool.
That's right, pal!
Fuck! You didn't have to do that! Let's get going! There'll be time for grieving later!
Yeah, you got that right.
Let's go!
From a game that can pretty much run on a potato to a game that popularised a phrase that is still muttered in PC gaming circles to this very day. So, out of interest, can it run Crysis, or more accurately Crysis Warhead in this case due to an issue that the Steam version of the original Crysis has when trying to get it to run on Windows 10? Well, that's irrelevant. The answer is yes, at least in theory. You see, the problem that we have here is not with the GPU at all. Unfortunately, Crysis was developed at a time where the expectation for future CPUs were much higher clock speeds rather than much higher core counts. As a result, Crysis actually only taxes 2 of our 8 cores on the i7-9700K, so we find ourselves CPU bottlenecked fairly often. When the GPU does get to stretch its legs, we are seeing over 100 frames being pumped out. But in scenes where the CPU becomes a limiting factor, we still see that frame rate plummet below the 60 mark, so in short, yes, the RX 5700 can indeed run Crysis, but good luck in finding a CPU that can do the same.
Raptor, the pilot put us down half a click south of your position, but he's in a bad way. Can either of you guys fly a VTOL? Both of us. Great. Now just get us out of here. Any way, anyhow.
No, mate.
Why?
He was unarmed. There are some rules I do follow.
The Deus Ex franchise is somewhat of a cult classic here on the PC, and so I know that there's going to be at least a few of you that would really love to be able to play the latest entry, Mankind Divided, on a system capable of making the game look fantastic while maintaining a decent frame rate. Which, if you are someone that attempted to max out the settings back when the game launched, will know that this is no easy task. Here, we took one step down from Ultra and settled with a very high preset. We also went for DX11 because while the average frame rate was indeed a little bit higher over on DirectX 12, I felt like there was a ton more input latency which made the game feel borderline unplayable for me. This is one of those games that has got a really variable frame rate. Our FPS would almost always bounce between around 60 and 120, so this is once again a prime candidate for playing with FreeSync. Don't get me wrong, this game is actually pretty well optimized, it's just one of the most detail-packed games on the market and can look really incredible at times, so that performance for the most part is justified.
Jensen, what's your 20?
Working my way through the penthouses.
Remember to keep an eye out for the Jin's communications booster. If you can, disable it.
Roger that.
I just want to check your documents.
Any idea what today's take is?
Try to look professional.
Should double the price. Bomb attacks.
I wasn't paying attention. What are we doing now?
Don't blow your cover. Making good money on this racket. It must be quitting time soon, yeah?
Try to look professional.
office, no liquor stores.
Can't afford it, man. Come, let's go.
Ciao, Cookie. Sich tu sa.
Can't go on like this.
Talking about a game where the performance is kind of justified based on the visuals, let's have a look at Watch Dogs 2 because this game is a really awkward beast. Here we handpicked our settings in an attempt to make the game look as pretty as possible while being able to maintain close to a 60 FPS average, and for the most part we did achieve that, however not flawlessly. Watch Dogs 2 appears to be an attempt by Ubisoft to avoid the fallout that they saw with the all original Watch Dogs and the visual downgrade thing by quite literally giving you ridiculous graphical settings that nobody's going to be able to run for at least 5 years or maybe even a decade. To put this into perspective, if we totally maxed out every single setting we could get our hands on, we are looking at a sub 10 frames per second. The good news is that when using these optimized settings, the game still is extremely playable while looking very nice. Does it look better than GTA 5? Well, yeah, in some ways, but I do think that GTA 5 does hold an advantage overall, but this is mostly due to aesthetics rather than on a technical level where Watch Dogs smashes it.
Hold it right there.
Help him.
Where the fuck am I gonna go?
Josh! Okay.
And finally, let's have a look at some Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Here we run using some optimized settings that are very close to those given out on a Digital Foundry video back when the game first released. Once again, we are able to hold a decent 60 frames while keeping the visuals looking great, so no complaints from me. Just please do bear in mind that this is another one of those games that really loves a lot of fast CPU cores, so your mileage may vary when using these exact same settings based on what kind of CPU you're running. Thankfully, there are quite a few options here, so you should at least have some room to tweak the settings further to get the performance you require.
I keep telling you, you can't do that.
Why? It's my farm. I can plant what I want.
The grapes will die here. All of them.
You have to forget what you know about the past, my friend. Together, we will revolutionize winemaking. Believe me, you will look back on this day and... Cassandra, thank the gods. Phoebe found you in time.
About grapes?
I can still hear you.
Now, before I shoot off, I want to say a massive thank you for stopping by and watching this video. If you are interested in seeing more like this, be sure to slap that subscribe button and to ding that bell icon so you get notified of our future uploads. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, I did upload a performance video of 8 more recent games running at 1440p on the Sapphire Pulse RX 5700, so be sure to check that out if you get the chance. As always, if you liked the video, then please do like the video, and if you disliked it, feel free to hit that dislike button, and all we ask is that you let us know why in the comment section below this video. If you've got any questions, suggestions or feedback, we would love to hear that as well, so please get in touch. Once again, from myself and everyone here at the Sapphire Tech YouTube channel, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we will catch you later. Bye bye.